Welcome back to Idle Talk. I'm gonna move my microphone just a teeny tiny little bit. Today, this episode is a little bit late. As you've heard in the minis, sorry, apologize. I just got done with my morning things for today, Saturday, and I'm gonna get this out as soon as possible, really. But first things first, I got guests in the house, okay? And it feels weird recording an Idle Talk, with the camera out, laptop, microphone set up. Feels weird. I'm not gonna lie to you. Feels weird. Also, I got this hoodie from Target, and it has the little thumb holes for it, and I'm pretty sure it was a unisex hoodie. I'm not too confident on it, but I'm pretty sure it was. It was only like $8. They were on sale. Actually, I don't even think it was a unisex hoodie. I think this was a men's. It was like a men's hoodies and activewear was on sale that day, and it went from like $14 to like $8. So, if anything, boys are allowed to have the holes for their thumbs, which I think is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna keep wearing it. I like it like this. This is comfortable, right? And I think me and Malik have gotten into conversations like sometimes like when you look at girl clothes and like why is it more comfortable than like guy clothes? And I think girls have the opposite feeling. They're like, why is guy clothes more comfortable than girl clothes? I don't know. Maybe we're like, why are we like wearing pants? Like what do we like? Maybe this the Scottish that wear those little like plaid like are the kilts, right? Kilts, they're called kilts, not skirts. They got the right idea, right? You got to let your man parts breathe. That's what I think. But like why don't we as a society revert back to that? But getting a little bit off topic, but it's funny. It's fun having guests here. It's also like the house is getting packed now, and Malik's gone forever. R.I.P. Not really. He's visiting family in Florida, but he'll be back around like Tuesday, hopefully. I told him, I was like, why don't you just stay there for a little bit? Like, you got some time to spend, why don't you? And he has his reasons, but respect the self-awareness from that guy. But let's get back into the Obi-Wan Kenobi talk. So when I was home, right, I was home for my birthday, my sister's graduation, and kind of like 4th of July ish time. So I spent about 4 days back at home, and I binged Obi-Wan Kenobi with my sister. So I watched it a second time. It was the first time watching it, and pretty much the general consensus that the internet had of the certain things that really didn't make sense, or maybe the pacing was kind of off, or like because we watched like 2 episodes per day. So she was like, the only really impactful moments for her were like episode 5 and 6. Like that's what kind of made it worth watching, in her opinion, I think, because the moment where Vader's stopping the ship from taking off, and he's like holding it with the Force. He's like, and my sister was like, "Whoa, he can do that!" I'm like, "Yeah, he can," and that was awesome. I think that it's those moments where people who, everybody knows like your first time watching Star Wars, and it's one of those moments where you wish you could relive your first time watching it, especially if you've become a big fan. It's very interesting that you can meet people who haven't watched Star Wars at all, because even the people that hate it, right? You watched it at least, you watched it, wasn't for you, hated it, right? Good for you. And the people who watch it and love it and come to love it like forever for their entire lives. But it's also interesting that, as kind of in my sister's case, that I remember showing her the original trilogy first, and we saw episode 4. So that cool, big explosions, nice. And then as she's older enough to kind of visually see that that this was like a 70s movie, and she's like, oh, like this looks kind of cheesy, whatever, right? Because the technology wasn't with our time when she was watching it. So she wasn't too old to be like a complete snob about it, but she could definitely tell when she was like younger that things definitely look better currently, especially at the time when we were watching it. They look better on TV than they did than that movie did on our TV. I remember her first reaction to like Vader telling Luke that he is his father, and she was like, whoa, like her like fucking jaw dropped. She was like so shocked. She was like, no way, did not see that coming. And I was like, this was like a moment. This is a moment that fans of any kind of movie that they grow to love and enjoy, their first moment to be like, wow, that's crazy, did not see that coming. And it's getting pretty rare that you meet people who haven't watched Star Wars, so kind of introducing somebody to something like that, whether they grow to love it or they grow to hate it, either way, they tried it. But I think it's super cool when somebody can get introduced to stuff like that. And I know for myself personally, there's been like shows or movies or like things that I haven't been introduced to, I haven't enjoyed yet. And I know that whenever, because I'm open to watching whatever at least one time, right? But if I do end up having one of those moments and somebody kind of brings that moment to me, I think it is more impactful that way. And I think the person that's introducing me to that will kind of have their own moment too. They're like, wow, I can't believe I got to introduce so and so to this. Like, it's super cool. So again, episodes 5 and 6, well worth it for my sister. I think she was like, what's happening? Whoa, he's fucking him up, that's crazy. Like, who is this? That's fucking, like, when she saw Liam Neeson again from at the end of the Kenobi series, she's like, I forgot he was in Star Wars. So I was like, yeah, because we kind of like don't remember episode 1 but she remembers the movies that kind of she gauged more interest to. So like maybe like the end of episode 2 when Anakin gets his like hand cut off, gets married in secret, the entirety of Revenge of the Sith, episode 5 where Vader tells Luke he's his father, episode 6 when the Death Star blows up again, like those key moments in her kind of like Star Wars history that she remembers. And this is like it's gonna be one of them. Vader stopping the ship, showing like how powerful he is. The entirety of Rogue One, where the story is shaped as these regular people fighting a war with guns for the whole time, and at the end of that movie, Vader comes with his fucking magic lightsaber shit, and he's just showing them how fucking utterly useless they are against them. Like, it really, really hones in the fact that these fucking people, like, with lightsabers, like, you really are way out of your element when you show up and this dude has a fucking lightsaber and you're like, oh, here's my blaster, shoot, oh, he's blocking it, oh, he's blocking it, like, there's nothing I can do. And so yeah, that was cool to experience with my sister. And I don't know, maybe it's, we've done the horror movies, we've had those little moments like in Saw and stuff. Maybe we'll start something new. I don't know. Leave me some recommendations if you've got them. I went to see this movie called The Black Phone, I believe. It was supposed to be a horror movie, but it was more like a psychological thriller, I believe. I mean, that's what me and Christian kind of came down to, just classifying it as that, because it wasn't necessarily scary. It wasn't necessarily scary in your face like a traditional horror movie where like the jump scares, like, they're coming, like there's certain like parts that will absolutely blow your mind away of how scary they are. But I think I don't know if there's a genre called realistic horror, but I think if there isn't, this movie is the start of that, because the premise of it, without really giving too much away, is it's like a dude who was committing these crimes in this small, like, niche, bound together neighborhood. Whenever a new crime occurs, the phone rings, somebody's letting them know what's happening, and somebody's telling the whole neighborhood what's happening, right? So the community is tight and it's knit, and it's like, yeah, let's keep each other informed. This has to stop. Blah 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 blah. So the crimes are basically kids are getting kidnapped. We don't really know what's happening to them, but as the movie occurs, our main character gets kidnapped, and they introduce these fucking, like, the Conjuring like powers that one of the main character's sister has. Allegedly, the mom used to see these visions, and it was telling them to do bad things. So blah blah blah. We get minimal backstory on the mom, but so it's that kind of story. Like, they're trying to fucking get you to be invested in these two kids, the brother who gets ultimately kidnapped and the sister who is kind of like on a supernatural wavelength, just trying her hardest to like see visions of like where her brother could possibly be. And so the entire time, this kid, he's being held in a house with a soundproof basement, and he's seeing visions or maybe hallucinating. We don't know if he has the same powers as his mom. It's not really said or explained that way, but I'm assuming he does. She's just not as strong as his sister. And the movie's called The Black Phone because it's a black phone in the basement he's in, and it rings, and the kidnapper explains it to him. He's like, I don't know, probably some electricity thing going down. Like, I don't know why. Sometimes it rings, and then I pick up, no one's there, obviously, because the line is cut. But, so we kind of get this, like, coming of, like, age moment at the end of the movie. There are certain parts where, at the beginning of the movie, it comes back to the end. Like, there's people that are talking to him, and he's trying to kind of apply that, like, those life lessons that he wanted them to learn. So, like, his friends that ultimately are not there with him anymore, he's got to take that advice and finally kind of, like, own up and, like, say, all right, fuck it, like enough time has passed, like, I have to do this, like, I can't put this on the back burner anymore, nobody's here to help me, I gotta do this on my own. And I say realistic horror in the way where this kid was kidnapped, and he's living in the basement of some guy's house. One of the houses in that neighborhood that I just told you about, the kidnapper himself is getting a phone call like, oh, wow, that sucks. Oh, man. Like, don't worry, I'll keep my eye out for him. Don't, like, you know, like, he's one of the fucking neighbors in that neighborhood. And his brother is staying at his house. The same house. He has a kidnapped kid in the basement. The cops go to that house and talk to the brother who's visiting. And he's like, yeah, you know, like, I've been expecting you guys. You know, I'm trying to help you with your investigation. Like, he shows them the fucking crime board that every fucking so-and-so detective has. And he's like, yeah, you know, he's got to be in one of these houses. You know, like, he can't be anything else. And the cops were, like, brushing him off. Like, yeah, whatever, dude. But little did he know, it's literally right underneath his feet. And man, that was such a good movie. I think I enjoyed myself thoroughly. It wasn't necessarily that groundbreaking, I don't think, and needed to be. But again, I think this little quote unquote realistic horror, that the fact that really and truly the scariest things are the simpler things, the things that literally anybody you know can do, and you know that's really what I enjoy. I think it was a good ride necessarily. Like, I didn't really feel like I had to, like, entertain myself in between scenes. Like, I was actually focused and, like, involved, and I was really, really, like, paying attention to the movie, because I found myself there's a rule of thirds, right? This is the middle third that you're seeing me right here, right? And this is, if you're on TikTok, the middle is what you ultimately end up seeing. You don't end up seeing the things over here, which is my Courage the Cowardly Dog sign, and over here, my graffiti spray paint, like, art that I got in Mexico, right? So the rule thirds, the middle thirds, is for the important parts of things you want people to focus on. And I caught myself multiple times looking, what's over here? What's over there? What's down there? What's down there? I caught myself looking for details that may not necessarily be there. I was like, ooh, I'm getting good at this. I'm getting good at, like, dissecting movies. I'm getting good at, like, looking for things that I know I shouldn't be looking for, but somebody out, the director or editor or whoever, or, like, producer or whatever, wants me to look for them. And, you know, I think I'm kind of, like, elevating myself as I watch movies. So that abrupt cutoff was, I'm going to go on a tangent here, the Baltimore City police helicopter. And apparently a lot of our neighbors aren't fans of it. They think it's a waste of city resources. And there was a particular incident where these kids were night swimming in the pool at the park that I live near, and they were like, oh, why did you have to bring the helicopter out and chase them away? Like, that's pretty fucked up. Like, there's no reason to do that. You can get your point across by just sending a cop, like, and just telling them to shoo away. And then somebody was like, well, the helicopter's already out, and it has to cross the park to get to where it refuels. So really, it's like killing two birds with one stone. It's like, hey, kids, get out the pool. And then it goes to get to refuel, and then does its duties or whatever. I'm indifferent about it. Sure, it's annoying, like, having it. I see it out all the time, and I'm like, is something, like, serious going on, or is it just out to be out? Because I understand the frustration of, like, the taxpayers here. They're paying for basically that to be out 24/7, and that money could definitely be going somewhere else. But it's up to ultimately the city leaders to figure that and sort that out. But yeah, that's my little tangent about that. Let's keep talking though about Facebook pages. I have an immense beef with like the stuff that people post that it's free, right? So let's say I have something of value, right? I don't need it anymore. So if I pull out this mic arm, right? This mic arm still works, right? I put it right here, and then I move my mic over here, right? Pretend my mic's here, and it's work. It has value. It's a little bit older. Like I haven't used it in a bit, so it's a little bit dusty. I just fucking moved all this dust, but this is still useful for someone, right? And my issue is somebody being like, "Oh, hey guys, I have a box of fucking paper towels that I used already. It's free outside. Grab them if you need them." Like, there's a lot of stuff I see that's posted up for free and plastered behind a free sign. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, this is garbage. You put out literal garbage and you labeled it free in hopes that somebody would take it. And people do take it because I don't need to shit on the people that do take it, and maybe they needed it. Like I've certainly gotten free stuff from fucking these groups all the time. My fucking white IKEA desk, I didn't see it on the Facebook group. It was just labeled free. Like literally, my neighbor put it out, and I fucking yoinked that shit. I was like, give me this shit. A toolbox, a brand new toolbox. I yoinked that shit too. I got this IKEA dresser that I was looking at. I wanted it in white or black. And then the wood version, somebody was like, hey, it's free to take, da-da-da-da. I'm like, fucking perfect. Excellent. This is the exact one I was looking for. It saves me $300. Like, so I don't want to be super, super critical on the people that do post stuff. But I feel like the people that post the shitty stuff that definitely that doesn't have any value, I'm like, you know better. You definitely just want to put your trash outside and hope that somebody takes it for you. And that's really my beef on that. Like, sure, I can put out an old office chair. Somebody might take it. Somebody might have use for it. Somebody will be super happy to have it. But then there's other instances where I'm like, do you really want to give somebody that piece of shit, that like chair that you have? Like, it's really, really, really old. It's scratched up. You came from a fucking home of cats. Like, it's squeaky as fuck. Like, you want to give that to somebody? Really, truly? Do you really think that's like for your best interest? And so that's kind of just the beef that I have with that. Oh, it's kind of like, I'm like, oh, you're a piece of shit, low key. You think you're doing people a favor, but really, are you? So we have this intern in the office. I'm not gonna tell you his name. I don't know why I would leak that. The only reason why is because he reminds me a lot of Dwight Schrute from The Office, like to a T. Like, think of the most craziest or the most cringy thing you can remember of Dwight Schrute, that memory, if you ever watched The Office, and that's him in a nutshell. Whatever you just thought of. For me, it's the fucking crazy part where he cuts off the fucking CPR dummy's face and plasters it on his face. He gives me that energy. Or the time where he pepper sprayed Roy, because Roy came up to Jim and tried to fuck him up in the office. That energy I get from this intern. And we were doing a little training day and for the interns, because we were trying to get them prepped for our summer season. So they have to teach classes. Something, it's part of the internship. They have to teach some X amount of classes. And we all left that internship. Not that internship. We all left the training day like, whew, that guy is rough. He's pretty rough. But we hope for the best, and hopefully he's gotten better at that. But he definitely gives off the vibe as how Dwight would probably talk to kids. Boom. You know why you're here. It's time for tweets and Reddit stuff and screenshots. We're going to start off with a wild one, okay? It's fucking crazy. If only YouTube existed in 2001, and it's a picture of 9/11 and the typical YouTuber reaction, like thumbnail, like, crazy, what happened? What did we do? if YouTube was around, like current YouTube culture was around in 2001, that would have been some of the craziest pieces of content we could have probably gotten. We get that now currently with shit like COVID or like swine flu or like hate crimes and shit like that. We get some shit like this on YouTube like this day and age, but just imagine shit like 9/11. Our confessions. I told my boyfriend I liked being degraded during sex, so he called me a stupid cunt. He did not understand the assignment. No, I think maybe you should have set some guidelines. Be like, I like being degraded, just don't call me XYZ. Don't make it a little bit too real. Don't like make it personal. don't actually call me a stupid fucking idiot that can't parallel park when it's raining. Like that's a little bit too personal, you know. Maybe you should have set some guidelines. Okay. Ask Reddit. What is the worst thing someone has said to you during sex? Not me, but an old friend of mine. Really quiet, soft-spoken, polite guy. A total gentleman and graduate student in the liberal arts. Also pretty inexperienced, tentative, and vanilla sexually. He's dating this really cool girl for maybe 2 months, and she's much kinkier in bed. She floats the idea of dirty talk, and apparently she likes to be objectified from time to time. He's hesitant, but wants to please her and doesn't dismiss the idea outright. Changes the subject and figures that they'll revisit the idea another time. Anyway, they have sex a few days later for the first time since the conversation, really going at it doggy style, and she tells him to talk dirty to her. He says that he can't think of anything to say, so he says nothing, and then she repeats the request, but the second time she's not fucking requesting, but demanding it. And he comes up with, yeah, you like that? You fucking retard. Yeah, you like that, you fucking retard. He's never struck me as one of her embellishments, so I believe him. He said that it was for sex that night, although they are still together 2 years later. It's not too bad. She get what she wanted? I'm not even sure that characterizes as dirty talk. But another response says, a similar story. A female friend of mine who was also very shy was ushered to dirty talk her boyfriend. She had never done it before, and so what came out her mouth was, "Oh yes, take me, you fucking tranny." Apparently not what he expected. Oof. I'm gonna have to start bleeping some shit. But you're gonna read it though. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna read what I said. But TikTok's been like TikTok's been on my ass about cursing lately. There's an account I follow on Twitter called Good Reddit, and someone tweets at them for whatever reason, "You gay?" Question mark. Good Reddit says, "Yeah." Weird Spotify playlist replies back, "Gay is okay," with a picture of a dog for whatever reason why that dog is there. I thought that was pretty cool though. I like when two Twitter pages I follow interact, because I'm like, whoa, I know these pages. But yeah, Idle Talk says gay is okay too. If you could eat one food from any animated movie, what would it be? Mine is the eggs from Shrek. Those eggs did look really, really good. I'm gonna put a picture right here. Boop. There's that helicopter I was telling you about. Somebody said Daphne's ass from Scooby-Doo, and I agree 100% as well. And I'll put a picture here. Men of Reddit. What makes you feel manly? Carrying my sister's kids, 2 nephews and niece around. They always ask me to pick them up whenever I see them, so I started lifting weights a couple years ago just so I could continue doing it as they got bigger. It worked out as I intended. I got a lot stronger, and now the boys are 9 years old, and I can still carry one of them under each arm. They love it since their mother can't pick them up anymore, and their happiness makes me feel good too. This is why we work out to manhandle kids. Next, let's bring some positivity into our lives. I know we need it. Inflation's been going crazy on us. Shit don't cost the same as it used to. But feel good story. It says Scalper says he lost nearly $23,000 due to GPU prices returning to normal. Fuck that guy. Last one, a little bit more current. It says Japan. #Japan. Police have now seized a number of improvised firearms from a home of, I'm not going to try to say the guy's names, the man who shot and killed former Prime Minister, this one's a little bit easier, Shinzo Abe. The weapons include both a 5 and 9 barrel shotgun, which appear to be electrically fired. And somebody said, guy had a Fallout New Vegas guns. And it's, like, pictures up here, that actually looks pretty insane. It's very, how do you even do that? Like, How does electrically fired 9-barrel shotgun? That sounds overkill. I mean, I don't know what else to say. That shit was actually, like, there probably is gonna be a future that this is real, and not real, but like mass produced, I want to say. Am I looking forward to that? Not too sure. But tweets, Reddits, things aside, that was today's Idle Talk. Thank you guys for bearing with me. Thank you guys for listening, pretty much. Like, even though it's a little bit later than I intended. Remember to follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Idle Talk Pod. Leave us 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. They share the same rating system now. And I will see you tomorrow for an Idle Talk mini. Yeah, I'm doing those every day again. So I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.